It's that time again. Main Man T. Back for the Bro Code Podcast. Produced by Kennedy Lucas.
What's good, my people? You are now officially tapped into the Bro Code Podcast, the livest corner of the internet where real ones link up, speak truth, and never fold under pressure. I'm your host, your homie, your guide through this wild world, Terry Lester, coming at you on this fine Monday, May 5th, 2025, and you already know what it is. We don't do fake, we do facts. So pour up that coffee, lace up them kicks, or hit play while you're cruising through the city. We're about to drop gems, roast nonsense, and have you laughing and thinking all at the same time. Here's the latest in sports. With the Denver Nuggets and Oklahoma City Thunder set to square off in the Western Conference semifinals, the league's top contenders for the 2024-25 MVP award, Nikola Jokic and Shai Gilgeous-Alexander, will line up across from one another. We'll likely see the official award announcement early during the series, too. But who has been the MVP of the past few weeks? On a much smaller scale, we wiped the slate clean to some extent, outlining the 10 stars who played like MVP contenders from a play-in tournament through the first round of the playoffs. We'll update our list as the postseason continues, moving players into and out of the top 10 after each round. And in this iteration, we'll also include a handful of names who just barely missed a cut, at least one or two of whom might be a surprise. Aaron Gordon's putback slam with 0.1 seconds left wins it for Nuggets. Aaron Gordon stuns Clippers fans as he wins Game 4 on a wild putback slam. The Clippers did a solid job in defending the three-time league MVP, especially in Game 7 on Saturday, when Jokic missed his first 5 shot attempts and finished with just 16 points on 16 shots. Still, when the dust settled on the series, the verdict was clear. Even when you stop Jokic, there's no stopping him, so to speak. That should be clear from his postseason triple-double averages on incredible efficiency. Even when you force a Jokic miss, including at the end of Game 4, when he airballed a three-pointer only for teammate Aaron Gordon to dunk home the buzzer-beating winner, the Nuggets fulcrum demands so much attention that they end up winning many of those plays anyway. Arguably no player had a tougher first round than Antetokounmpo, who had to contend with the Pacers' walled-off defense and to shoulder the load without Damian Lillard for the vast majority of the series. Indiana won the war, but Antetokounmpo won so many of the fights throughout the matchup, piecing together an incredible stat line of 33.0 points, 15.4 boards, and 6.6 assists, all while shooting 60% from the field. It wasn't enough to get out of the opening round, but you certainly can't point to Antetokounmpo as the reason why. Tatum starred in the first round, playing against the conference's best defense, and perhaps its most physical defense, and still managing to average 31.3 points and 5.3 assists per game. And he did it despite injuring his right wrist so severely during a hard foul in the series opener against Orlando that he had to sit out Game 2. None of it stopped Tatum from shooting 50% from mid-range of the series, or hitting 5 from deep in the closeout Game 5. Brunson, playing through ankle issues that forced him to briefly exit Games 1, 2, 4, and 5 against the Pistons, wasn't as efficient as he usually is during the hard-fought 6-game series. Nonetheless, the New York captain found a way to hit the 30-point mark 5 times. That included the 40-point showing he had in the finale, which Brunson ended with an ice-cold three-pointer over Ozar Thompson. Brunson's series ender and his playoff best 11 points per game in fourth quarters during the first round further validated his candidacy for the NBA's Clutch Player of the Year. Minnesota's closeout Game 6 wasn't Edwards' finest shooting display. He was 5 for 19 and missed all 11 of his three-point tries after leading the NBA in trays during the regular season. But Edwards' game isn't predicated on merely scoring anymore, and it hasn't been for some time. He registered 8 dimes or more in 3 of the 5 games against the Lakers in Round 1. And in his dominant 43-point Game 4, Edwards didn't have a bucket over the final 7.5 minutes of the contest. Instead, he used the defensive attention he drew to facilitate and tallied a pair of assists to close out the game. Perhaps it was fitting that the Magic hung around in their season-ending loss to Boston until Banchero, their franchise player, picked up a 5th foul early in the third quarter and had to sit. After the call, the defending champs pounded Orlando without Banchero during a 30-9 run that effectively ended the series. It highlighted just how vital the 22-year-old forward is to what the Magic do, particularly on offense. Banchero shot 44% from deep in the series, while his teammates shot just 22%, 29 for 129, from distance. Despite his truncated regular season, Leonard put together a highly impressive playoff run, one that's hard to believe given how few games 37 he logged leading up to it. He had a video game-like Game 2 against Denver, shooting 15 for 19 from the floor while putting up 39 points. Not only did he average an efficient, series-best 25 point per game in a round that featured three-time MVP Jokic, but Leonard also was a disruptive defender we've long known him to be, with a playoff-best 29 deflections in the opening round. More than anything, it was good to see Leonard healthy in the postseason again, given what the past few years have looked like for him. Mitchell, much like Shai Gilgeous-Alexander and Jalen Williams, spearheaded a team that dismantled a no. 8 seed so thoroughly that we didn't get or need to see him in fourth periods at times against Miami. Still, Mitchell was fantastic, and he largely held down the backcourt in the final 2 games of the series, which fellow All-Star Darius Garland missed. Mitchell's Game 1 showing against the Pacers on Sunday marked the 8th consecutive playoff series. He has led off with a 30-point performance, breaking a record held by Michael Jordan. Curry's second-half surge fuels Warriors to a Game 7 win. Steph Curry steps up with 19 points in the second half to lead the Warriors to a 103-89 win over the Rockets in Game 7. Coach Ime Udoka and the hard-nosed Rockets made no secret of their intentions to hound Curry in the first round. They threw aggressive zone looks at him and made things as uncomfortable as possible as Curry played through an injured left thumb. On some level, the plan worked. Curry's efficiency cratered in the latter half of the series. But in the decisive Game 7, Houston sold out again on stopping Curry early, opening up an opportunity for fellow Warriors sharpshooter Buddy Hield to go off for 6 threes and 22 points in the first half. Curry then caught fire to close things out, as he often does, pushing the Dubs into the West semis. Halliburton hasn't shot all that well this postseason, but he's still the unquestioned quarterback and driving force of a potent Pacers offense. He is averaging nearly 12 assists per game to this point. Halliburton also made a handful of key plays defensively in the series opening upset when over top-seeded Cleveland on Sunday. Shai Gilgeous-Alexander, who scored plenty, but did so unevenly and a bit inefficiently, 40% overall and 25% from 3, during OKC's overwhelming sweep against Memphis. It obviously didn't matter a lot, given the nature of the series, and that co-star Jalen Williams, whom we also owe apologies to, was fantastic, averaging 23 points, 5 rebounds, and 5 assists on 54% shooting from the field. Both guys will have opportunities to scale the list as the competition ratchets up. Reigning Finals MVP Jaylen Brown, who was efficient in the gentleman's sweep against Orlando as he continued to play through the bone bruise in his right knee that prompted him to get pain management injections. He was spectacular in Game 2 of that series, exploding for 36 points on just 19 attempts. Brown never reached the 20-attempt mark in the series. Julius Randle, who's coming off the best playoff series of his career after having co-starred with Edwards to the tune of 22.6, 5.2 and 4.4 on 48% shooting and 39% from 3. Enormous improvements from the lackluster postseason figures he logged during his Knicks tenure. LeBron James and Luka Doncic, who both exited the playoffs hobbled. James with sprained MCL and Doncic with back injury, and struggled mightily with fatigue as games with the Timberwolves wore on. Each superstar had eye-popping metrics in the series on good efficiency, but shot just 33% and 30%, respectively, from the field in fourth periods. Doncic, specifically, struggled defensively and finished with just 3 assists and 3 turnovers in his 47 fourth-quarter minutes. Cade Cunningham, who averaged historic numbers, 25 points, 8 assists, and 8 rebounds for a player's first NBA postseason, but will also look back on the series with the Knicks and realize he has to shoot better from deep, 18%, and turn it over at a far-reduced clip, 5 per game. Franz Wagner, who, as Orlando's second option, had averages that looked a bit like Cunningham's. Unfortunately, the lackluster number from deep 19% also was a commonality there. Karl Anthony Towns, whose numbers, 19.7 points and 10 rebounds per game on nearly 50/40/90 splits, looked good enough, but his play was highly uneven throughout a hard-fought first round with the Pistons. Towns' foul trouble complicated things for the Knicks at times, including Game 6, during which he fouled out before Brunson hit his series winner. Alperen Sengun, who provided his usual triple-threat production for Houston through its 7-game defeat. He got a massive boost from swingman Jalen Green in Game 2, and floored General Fred VanVleet, ignited down the stretch of the series. But make no mistake, the center's efficient contributions consistently kept Houston afloat against the Warriors. Jamal Murray, who wasn't consistent enough to make the top 10, but whose Game 5 showing against the Clippers, 43 points on 26 shots with 7 assists, was easily one of the best performances of the playoffs. He finished the series averaging almost 23 points and 6 assists with 48/40/90 splits. There are very few situations in basketball where Nikola Jokic is uncomfortable, but the center of the yearly debate over who the most valuable player in the league is one of them. His face visibly contorts when the 3 letters are even uttered near him. He deflects questions about the award as quickly as he redirects one of his quick touch passes on the court. 6 of the past 7 seasons, Jokic has been in the top 5 of the MVP race. 3 of those times he has won it. But this year, he has done something completely unexpected. He actually made a case for himself to win the award. I think I'm playing the best basketball of my life. So if that's enough, it's enough. Jokic said March 10th, after the Denver Nuggets' 140-127 win over his main challenger for this year's award, Shai Gilgeous-Alexander and the Oklahoma City Thunder. If not, Gilgeous-Alexander deserves it. He's really amazing. Nowhere in that statement did Jokic say he wanted to win what would be his 4th MVP award, which would tie him with LeBron James and Wilt Chamberlain. Kareem Abdul-Jabbar has the most with 6, and Michael Jordan and Bill Russell have 5. Nowhere did he say that it would mean a lot to him personally. What Jokic outlined was simple. He has never played as well as he did this year, and if we agree on that premise, that he has been even better this season than his 3 MVP campaigns, then logically he should win again. And by almost every metric, he's right. Besides averaging a triple-double and leading the league with 33 of them this season, Jokic ranked among the top 3 in scoring, 29.6, rebounds, 12.7, assists, 10.2, and steals, 1.8, and was among the top 20 players in three-point percentage, 41.7%. No one had ever done that before. He continues to rewrite the record books. But there's one very big difference this year than the previous 3 years, a hole in what is otherwise an open-end shut case. Gilgeous-Alexander had a season for the ages, too, leading the league in scoring 32.7 points per game and playing all-NBA caliber defense while guiding the youngest team in the league to 68 wins by the largest average margin of victory, plus 12.9 PPG in NBA history, surpassing the record set by the 1971-72 Los Angeles Lakers. It is your classic best player on the best team versus best statistical season MVP race. The only time the debate seemed to take center stage or grow even the least bit heated came when the Nuggets and Thunder split back-to-back games March 9th and 10th. Gilgeous-Alexander made his case with 40 points, 8 assists, and 3 steals in the nationally televised March 9th win, saying afterward, "I love MVPs, I love all-stars, I love all the accolades that come with it, but none of it matters if you don't win." Jokic made his case the next night with 35 points, 18 rebounds, and 8 assists as the Nuggets won the far less publicized game. For a day or two, every TV and radio show debated who should win. Teammates on both sides campaigned for their guy, and voters were left a month to sort through everything before casting their votes. Since then, both men have gone out of their way to compliment the other for a hell of a season. But whatever debate there was given way to the playoff drama about to transpire. This second-round matchup between the Thunder and the Nuggets will bring all of it back into focus, starting with Game 1 in Oklahoma City on Monday night. The MVP is expected to be announced during a live TNT broadcast during this round of the playoffs. This means Gilgeous-Alexander and Jokic, and Giannis Antetokounmpo too, will be asked to join a live stream and await the announcement of the most important individual award in basketball at a time when their entire focus has shifted to team success. It is the last thing on both of our minds. Jokic said Saturday night after the Nuggets finished off the LA Clippers in Game 7 of their hard-fought first-round series. The votes have long since been cast, and winning the MVP hasn't correlated with winning an NBA title since Stephen Curry did it in 2015. In fact, none of the previous 9 MVP winners has made it past the conference finals. But when asked about Gilgeous-Alexander as a player, Jokic was far more inclined to talk. He's a very different player, Jokic said. He's playing on so many levels, speed, as a scorer. Everything looks so easy for him. Even when you are like, oh, that's a good defense. It feels so easy for him, and he's amazing with change of speed, change of rhythm, ball handling. He can post up guys. He can go by guys. His shooting at the mid-range is unguardable, basically. He's a very special player. Gilgeous-Alexander has taken a different approach in how he has handled the attention that comes with an MVP race. He has acknowledged how much it would mean to him and that he would like to win. But each time he does, he reiterates that the only goal that really matters to him is the Thunder winning, which has left the job of campaigning to surrogates. Former Denver coach Michael Malone had historically been Jokic's hype man, but after he was unceremoniously fired with just 3 games left in the season, Nuggets swingman Christian Braun took over. I think that Nikola had maybe the greatest season ever, Braun said Saturday night. I don't know if you'll ever see a player do what he did ever again in one singular regular season. They were both great. The Thunder are an amazing team. Shai is an amazing player. So there isn't any wrong choice. But to see what Nikola did night in and night out, I don't know that you'll ever see that again. In December, Thunder center Chet Holmgren tweeted simply, Lou Dort for DPOY and Shai for MVP or we riot. It is an intriguing subplot to the series that both the frontmen will do their best to ignore. Asked whether he thought Jokic cared whether he wins, Braun said, I know for a fact he doesn't. Thunder coach Mark Daigneault agreed. I know Shai a lot better than I know Jokic, Daigneault said Sunday afternoon. But I think I know enough to know that neither one of them are going to get distracted by that. Both of them are going to be fully invested in the series. It's a supplement to the series. But it's not part of the series at all. The second round of the 2025 NBA playoffs is underway, with 8 teams going head-to-head for a chance to move one step closer to their championship hopes. The No. 1 seed Cleveland Cavaliers will take on the No. 4 seed Indiana Pacers after the Cavs swept the Miami Heat in the first round and the defending champion No. 2 seed Boston Celtics will have to face off against the No. 3 seed New York Knicks. In the West, after an exciting 7-game series, the Denver Nuggets will move on to face the No. 1 seed Oklahoma City Thunder and the No. 6 seed Minnesota Timberwolves will take on the Golden State Warriors. After a first round filled with sweeps and Game 7s, our NBA experts are making their picks for each second-round series. Let's look back at the 2025 NFL Draft now that the dust has settled on all 257 picks. What were some of the best selections, both in the first round and further down the board? Which teams made the most confusing moves based on value and or needs? We asked 17 of our NFL experts to weigh in with their opinions on everything that went down in Green Bay. Check back all week, as we will continue to update this file with new questions for our analysts each day. We will tackle the teams with the best rookie classes Tuesday, Rookie of the Year candidates Wednesday, Fantasy Sleepers in Year 1 Thursday, and bold predictions for top draft picks for this season Friday. But let's start with the most impressive and most confusing picks of the draft. Who is your favorite pick in the entire draft? Stefania Bell, fantasy football analyst. Running back Ashton Janney to the Raiders, no. 6. I love when draft picks have an immediate impact, and Janney can do exactly that. The Raiders were last in the league in rushing yards in 2024, 1,357, while Janney led the FBS, 2,601. His talent as both a pass catcher and runner offers versatility for new coach Pete Carroll, who is looking to make the Raiders' offense more dynamic. Matt Bowen, NFL analyst. Safety Malachi Starks to the Ravens, no. 27. With Starks playing opposite Kyle Hamilton in the secondary, the Ravens have 2 interchangeable safeties to disguise coverages and change the picture post-snap. Starks is a versatile defender with playmaking ability, capable of impacting multiple levels of the field as a rookie. Jeremy Fowler, national NFL reporter. Offensive tackle Josh Simmons to the Chiefs? No. 32. My favorite picks typically come with some level of risk, but tremendous upside. Simmons embodies that. Multiple scouts told me his tape was the best of any offensive tackle. Injury concerns are there, but if Kansas City maximizes Simmons' potential, it has a premier left tackle for Patrick Mahomes' next chapter. Dan Graziano, national NFL reporter. Starks to the Ravens. Baltimore has built much of its recent success on being strong up the middle of the defense, and Starks should be a perfect fit with that plan. The Ravens had their eye on Starks pre-draft, thinking his center field abilities would allow them to play Hamilton closer to the line of scrimmage more often. The pair should complement each other well. Kalen Kaler, national NFL reporter. Receiver Tommy Mellott, no. 213, and quarterback Cam Miller, no. 215 to the Raiders. Yes, I'm writing about Mellott again, but I really love the back-to-back FCS picks by Las Vegas. Mellott will likely convert from quarterback to receiver and become a Taysom Hill-like gadget player on special teams. Miller was a favorite developmental quarterback for several scouts. He had a really impressive pro day and could prove to be a great pick. Pamela Maldonado, sports betting analyst. Wide receiver/cornerback Travis Hunter to the Jaguars? No. 2. This trade-up was bold and exactly what this team needed. Hunter is a unicorn with his ability to be a shutdown corner and playmaker. His infectious energy could reinvigorate Jacksonville's entire locker room. Matt Miller, NFL draft analyst. Wide receiver Luther Burden, 3 to Bears? No. 39. I love the value of Burden early in round 2 after ranking him as my no. 13 overall player. It was a smart team-building pick after Chicago already filled so many needs in free agency. I like the team's determination to surround Caleb Williams with top-tier targets. Eric Moody, fantasy football writer. Wide receiver Teteroa McMillan to the Panthers? No. 8. Coach Dave Canales has a strong track record with ex-receivers, and the Panthers landed the best one in the 2025 class, drafting McMillan. The NCAA leader in contested catches over the past 2 seasons allows 2024 first-round pick Xavier Legette to shift into more of a situational role. Carolina quarterback Bryce Young should be excited about McMillan's arrival. Dan Orlovsky, NFL analyst. McMillan to the Panthers. He reminds me so much of Atlanta's Drake London. And a QB loves a big-body wide receiver who catches everything. It will build confidence in Young. Jason Reed, and K.P senior NFL writer. Simmons to the Chiefs. He could have been a top 5 pick if he hadn't sustained a knee injury in October. He displays a rare combination of power and quickness at the position. The Chiefs expect him to be ready by training camp. Jordan Reed, NFL draft analyst. McMillan to the Panthers. Carolina's receiver room consists of a lot of secondary options, but Young needed a go-to playmaker on the perimeter for his crucial 3rd season. McMillan can develop into a true alpha WR1. Aaron Schatz, NFL analyst. Edge rusher Jalen Walker to the Falcons? No. 15. We know the Falcons needed to improve their pass rush, and Walker is a super versatile player who can rush the passer or drop into coverage. Plus, the Falcons got him a couple picks later than his position on consensus boards. Ben Solak, NFL analyst. Cornerback Jacob Parrish to the Buccaneers? No. 84. Parrish is a classic Todd Bowles cornerback. Feisty, instinctive in zone, able to press, and an excellent tackler in space. He reminds me of Tyke Smith, a 2024 third-rounder who emerged as a key nickel defender for Tampa Bay. The Bucs needed to add depth to their secondary, and they got a perfect scheme and culture fit in Parrish. Mike Tannenbaum, NFL front office insider. Janney to the Raiders. This is a tone-setting pick for Carroll and GM John Spytek. Janney gives the Raiders a much-needed explosive playmaker, and he's an ideal fit in new coordinator Chip Kelly's offense. Lindsey Theory, national NFL reporter. Guard Gray Zabel to the Seahawks? No. 18. The Seahawks' offensive line has been in need of help, and it wasn't found in free agency. But selecting Zabel in the first round signals that the Seahawks are committed to improving their offense from the inside out, putting new quarterback Sam Darnold in a position to succeed. Seth Walder, NFL analyst, edge rusher Donovan Ezeruaku to the Cowboys, no. 44. My sack model had Ezeruaku essentially tied with James Pierce Jr. for the third best forecast in the class. Despite not playing for an elite team in college, which can sometimes boost a player's sack numbers, he racked up 16.5 sacks in 2024. Dallas only had to use a second-round pick to get him. Field Yates, NFL analyst. Guard Donovan Jackson to the Vikings, no. 24. Jackson was 20th overall on my board, as I am extremely bullish on his positional versatility, power, toughness, and overall play temperament. The Vikings began this offseason saying they would get their trenches in order and have done it. Who was the biggest head-scratching pick of the draft? Bell, wide receiver Emeka Egbuka. To the Buccaneers, no. 19. This may turn out not to be a head-scratcher at all if Chris Godwin's recovery from ankle surgery has slowed. On the surface, the Bucs appeared well-stocked at the position with Mike Evans, Godwin, and up-and-comer Jalen McMillan. But their move to take a first-round slot receiver, where Godwin lined up over 60% of the time last season, suggests they're making contingency plans. Bowen, wide receiver Isaac TeSlaa to the Lions, no. 70. I can see the traits with TeSlaa. He's a 6'4" target with seam stretching ability, and he posted explosive testing numbers for a .43 40-yard dash, 39.5-inch vertical. However, he is still a developing prospect, and it cost the Lions 2 2026 third-rounders to trade up for him. Fowler, wide receiver Jack Beck to the Raiders, no. 58. Beck has the ball skills and competitiveness to make a quick impact on the Las Vegas offense, and the Raiders had a solid draft in Spytek's first year at the helm. But several scouts from around the league, even ones that really like Beck, felt the second round was a bit high, and the third round might have been a more sensible range. Graziano, edge rusher James Pierce Jr. To the Falcons, no. 26. This isn't about the player. It's about the price the Falcons paid to move up for him. Atlanta needed edge rush help and already got some earlier in the round with Jalen Walker. Trading next year's first-round pick to get Pierce felt like a massive overpay, especially after the Giants gave up only 2 third-round picks to trade up to no. 25. Kaler. Quarterbacks Dylan Gabriel, no. 94. And Shadur Sanders, no. 144. To the Browns. Several scouts and executives I spoke to really started scratching their heads with the Gabriel pick, but the Browns also taking Sanders made even less sense. Neither quarterback has prototypical size for the position, and I'm not seeing a plan on how these two will split reps with Joe Flacco and Kenny Pickett in camp. Maldonado, quarterback Tyler Shaw to the Saints, no. 40. It made little sense, especially for a team that needs long-term stability under center. Shaw will be 26 with a laundry list of major injuries, including 2 separate collarbone breaks and a broken fibula from a hip drop tackle. He holds the ball too long, invites pressure, and doesn't get through reads fast enough, traits that only increase his risk of taking more hits. Miller, defensive tackle Kenneth Grant to the Dolphins, no. 13. This was both a poor value, Grant was an early round 2 player for me, and a luxury, given the Dolphins' needs at cornerback and safety. Grant is certainly a good player, but the value just fell off. Moody, linebacker Ruben Hippolyte to the Bears, no. 132. This 4th-round selection was shocking because many analysts predicted Hippolyte could go undrafted. I thought this was a major reach in the middle rounds by general manager Ryan Poles. Orloff Sky, the Cowboys not taking a single wide receiver in the draft. I fully expected them to take one after they had to force the ball to C.D. Lamb last season. Taking guard Tyler Booker in the first round was fine, but they should have tried to find a secondary receiving option in any of the other early rounds. Jason Reed, Gabriel/Sanders to the Browns. 2 developmental rookie QBs with Flacco and Pickett under contract. In camp in the preseason, how will Gabriel and Sanders get enough reps to adjust to the NFL and prove they deserve roster spots? I don't get it. Jordan Reed, edge rusher Shamar Stewart to the Bengals, no. 17. I thought the Bengals would pursue a more proven finisher off the edge. Stewart is a risky gamble for a team that has to find immediate impact players opposite Trey Hendrickson. Stewart has impressive traits, but he had only 4.5 sacks in 3 college seasons. Shots, Tesla to the Lions. He scored basically 0 in my Playmaker Score article featuring WR projections. ESPN Scouts Incorporated. Rankings did have Tesla listed, but as the no. 17 receiver and no. 157 prospect. And yet, the Lions dealt 2 2026 third-round picks for him. He's at best a duplicate of Detroit's best receiver, Amon-Ra St. Brown. Solid. Gabriel to the Browns. It's tough for me to find a rosy future for Gabriel, who lacks the size necessary to make all the throws on an NFL field. He also doesn't have the compensatory arm talent and movement skills that shorter quarterbacks like Kyler Murray and Russell Wilson have. I struggle to find a world where Gabriel really makes waves in that Browns QB room. Even if Sanders wasn't there, Tannenbaum, the Falcons trading up for Pierce. While his ability is undeniable, giving up a future first-round pick is always risky, especially since Pierce's pre-draft evaluations were all over the place. Walder, the Falcons trading up for Pierce. Surrendering a future first-round pick to move up for a non-QB is almost always bad business, but it's a particularly poor move for the Falcons. That's because Michael Penix Jr. has 3 career starts, so there are plenty of worlds where the Falcons gave up a top 10 or even a top 5 pick in this deal. I'll also throw the Vikings in here because they could have made a deal with the Falcons or Giants and traded out the first round. Minnesota needed more picks. Yates, wide receiver Pat Bryant to the Broncos, no. 74. This was a reach relative to my own rankings, as I thought Bryant was a day 3 pick after posting a 4.61 in the 40-yard dash at the Combine. There are traits of Bryant's game I admire. He's a strong route runner, has extremely reliable hands, and was a clutch performer in college. This pick was just earlier than expected. Colts scout Chad Henry is among the franchise's most experienced evaluators, so he was able to tap into his institutional knowledge when looking to contextualize the scouting process of first-round pick Tyler Warren. Henry flashed back to fall 2006 when he was scouting then Georgia Tech receiver and future Hall of Famer Calvin Johnson in a game against Virginia Tech. I scouted him in 3 plays, Henry said. He caught a stand-up screen and outran the Virginia Tech defense for 80 yards. He had a one-handed catch in the end zone on a fade where he made the corner look like a child. And he caught a dig for a first down, got the crap knocked out of him, got up, handed the ball to the ref, went back to huddle. I said, "All right, I'm done." That, Henry said, is how it felt while watching Warren lead Penn State past USC last October. It wasn't just Warren stunning 17 catches or 224 receiving yards. It was the sum of his performance, with Warren contributing to the offense in almost every way. When he wasn't catching a ball over 2 defenders, he was lining up under center and powering for a first down on a 3rd and 1. And when Warren wasn't running over defenders in the open field, he was throwing a pass to a receiver for a 9-yard completion. He caught inside screens, outside screens, and dominated in every manner. After that game, Henry said, "What else do I need to see with Tyler? It's kind of the same thing as Johnson." Warren's performance against USC and his other similar outings have the Colts thinking about the ways they can also utilize the 14th overall pick. Expect Warren to have a role as a conventional tight end, but don't be surprised if his impact extends well beyond that. He's a guy that can do it all. Colts coach and play caller Shane Steichen said, "You guys know that. He can catch. He can run. He can throw. We might play him on defense." 1 year after the Colts missed out on Brock Bowers, whom the Las Vegas Raiders selected in the 2024 draft, they got the prospect they believe was the best player at his position in this draft. Colston Loveland was selected by the Chicago Bears at no. 10, but Colts general manager Chris Ballard speculated the Bears might have preferred Loveland because Chicago already has multidimensional tight end Cole Kmet on his roster and was seeking a true receiving tight end. Either way, the Colts are seemingly thrilled with their pick, and it isn't difficult to understand why. Indianapolis was last in the NFL in tight end receptions last season, 39, and 31st in tight end receiving yardage, 467. Given their lack of moves at the position in free agency, landing Warren or Loveland was critical to upgrading the unit. It'll be fun to have him, Steakin said about the myriad ways Warren can be used. This plan was further cemented when the Colts met Warren and quizzed him on scheme-related issues. A former high school quarterback, Warren showed command of all facets of the offense. It's that command that allows him to have such a varied impact. He's highly intelligent, Henry said. To use him the way that Penn State used him in the spots that they line him up, you could see the former quarterback in him. And Wade came into our room at the combine. He sounded like a coach. There's not a lot you can't do. He's what I would call a unicorn. Though Warren can impact the game in many ways, no one will mistake him for a gadget player. His toughness is one of his main qualities, and it's one that drew the Colts to him as much as anything else. Warren is a powerful runner after the catch who often requires multiple tacklers to take him down. Watch the guy run on the goal line. Henry said, I don't want to tackle him. That toughness influences Warren's blocking, too. The Colts expect him to be heavily involved as a run blocker this season. That will allow him to remain on the field in passing and running situations, which makes him more dangerous because his presence does not serve as an indicator to defenses. Though he'll need to fine-tune his blocking, he won't need an attitude adjustment. Warren fully embraces the contact. I think it's really your mentality to want to do it, Warren said of his blocking. It starts with that. You've got to want to do it. It's just one of the many things the Colts will ask of Warren. If he can duplicate even some of what he demonstrated against USC, Warren will be quite busy this season. Now we talk gaming news on the Bro Code podcast. Ghost of Yodi is currently at the top of the PlayStation Store pre-order charts in the US and UK. Sucker Punch officially revealed the upcoming sequel to the 2020 open-world action titled Ghost of Tsushima back in September 2024, confirming that it will have both a new name and a new central protagonist. Taking place 300 years after the events of the first game, Ghost of Yodi follows Atsu, who embarks on a mission to avenge the murder of family by hunting the people responsible across Japan's northern Enzo region. Fans of the original Ghost of Tsushima got another look at Ghost of Yodi last month, along with an official release date of October 2nd. Much of the classic action and stealth gameplay that made Ghost of Tsushima a hit will be retained in Ghost of Yodi, with Atsu shown cutting down enemies using the same katana that pinned her to a tree as the sinister Yodi 6 burned down her home. Ghost of Yodi will also take advantage of its new time period by giving Atsu a matchlock rifle to shoot at foes from a distance. Gamers are excited to see more of the new direction that Sucker Punch is taking with Ghost of Yodi, at least according to a high number of pre-orders already in the books. Ghost of Yodi is currently at the very top of the PlayStation Store pre-order charts in the US, UK, and other territories, as reported by Push Square, with the $80 deluxe edition ranking slightly higher than the vanilla $70 version. Pre-orders for Ghost of Yodi started late last week, roughly 6 months away from its October 2nd launch on the PlayStation 5. Ghost of Tsushima was already a blockbuster success for the PlayStation 4, with an updated PS5 version released in 2021 and a PC port launching in 2024. A live-action Ghost of Tsushima movie by John Wick director Chad Stahelski is in development from Sony, as is an anime inspired by the game's online multiplayer mode Ghost of Tsushima. Legends. This success is already spreading to Ghost of Yodi, with many players already pre-ordering the next chapter in Sucker Punch's open-world samurai series. Ghost of Yodi will depart from its predecessor in many ways, such as having a non-linear story campaign. Former PlayStation and Sony executive Shuei Yoshida recently praised Ghost of Yodi for providing a smooth and bug-free gameplay experience and expressed excitement to see the full game once it launches this fall. There are not many upcoming projects in the gaming industry that are as widely anticipated as Grand Theft Auto 6, with fans having now waited well over a decade for a fresh installment to the massively successful Rockstar franchise. The official reveal of the project in late 2023 led to a predictable explosion of hype and discussion, with fans understandably wanting to learn more about what Rockstar has in store for the title and its modern-day portrayal of the iconic Vice City. The anticipation surrounding Grand Theft Auto 6 only grew in recent months as fans edged closer to the originally intended late 2025 release window for the game, although Rockstar recently announced a major delay for the title, which will now see its release next year. While this is bad news for hopeful fans of Grand Theft Auto 6, The delay now leaves a big gap in the last quarter of 2025 for other releases to fill. Discussions about the rest of 2025 and things like Game of the Year were heavily tied to GTA 6 before the delay, with other 2025 titles now being given a much larger chance of being crowned as the best experience of the year. 2025 has already seen the release of some excellent projects across the gaming industry, although it always seemed impossible for any other releases to escape the massive shadow of Grand Theft Auto 6. Even before the game's release and before a lot of its scale and content is even known, GTA 6 carries a reputation that is expected to define the gaming space for many years to come. Rockstar has developed an excellent reputation over the years in terms of releasing defining projects, and with GTA 5 currently holding the record for the most profitable piece of entertainment media ever made, it is clear to see why the expectations around GTA 6 are so high. These expectations, as well as the decade-plus wait for Grand Theft Auto 6, have made the title a guaranteed Game of the Year winner in the eyes of many, with it being difficult to see another near-future title toppling the success and cultural dominance that the Rockstar project is set to bring with it when it eventually launches. Of course, Rockstar shocked the industry recently when it announced that GTA 6 has been delayed until May 26, 2026, meaning that 2025's Game of the Year spot is no longer an easy race. This allows a new lens to be placed on 2025's biggest hitters, with there being a few standout titles that could pip the top spot alongside upcoming projects that have a lot of potential. For example, February 4 saw the release of the long-awaited Kingdom Come, Deliverance 2, which delivered one of the most detailed and engaging RPG experiences that set a new bar compared to fan-favorite experience of its 2018 predecessor. More recent releases like April's popular indie game Blueprints are also now deep in contention for Game of the Year, with Blueprints perhaps repeating the same underdog success as 2024's Gotti nominee Balatro. An even more recent release that has taken the industry by storm is K.L.P. Expedition 33, which has received rave reviews for its unique dark fantasy setting and refined exploration. Some players are already giving K.L.P. the nod for 2025's Game of the Year spot, yet there are still some upcoming projects that will try to throw their hat into the ring. Upcoming 2025 projects include the likes of Death Stranding 2, On the Beach, Borderlands 4, and Ghost of Yodi, with these titles having the potential to leave a serious mark on the gaming industry as the year draws to a close. While so much attention has been placed on Grand Theft Auto SX's once expected late 2025 launch, the game's delay has opened up a world of opportunities and appreciation for other projects, and a much more varied shortlist of potential Game of the Year titles is now starting to form. That'll wrap for today's episode of the Bro Code Podcast, coming at you straight from the culture, unfiltered, unbothered, and unapologetically real. You already know who it is. Terry Lester in the booth, holding it down like I always do. Big salute to all my kings, queens, and day ones who tapped in with us today. Whether you was vibing from the car, the crib, the office, or the gym, we appreciate you riding with the code. And hey, remember this, real ones move with loyalty, speak with respect, and live by the code. Until next time, keep grinding, keep rising, and as always, stay solid, stay true, and stay broed up. Terry Lester signing out. Peace, love, and loud laughs.